What's up, you guys? SlimXTeamSymmetry here to bring you guys the first episode in a new series here on my channel. I'm going to start doing retro deck profiles. A lot of people have been messaging me via YouTube, Facebook, everywhere, and just asking me to profile decks from back in the day. You guys know that one of my most successful series here on this channel has been Back in the Day and Back in the Day the Deck series, and I've decided I'd like to turn those into more real-life videos for you guys. You guys can really get a feel for the importance and significance of the decks during those formats. And I wanted to start with one of my all-time favorite decks that came out back in 2005. I'm going to profile today Stein OTK by David Rodriguez. It was what he used to win, end up winning an SJC San Jose back in 2005. It was absolutely insane. He was the first and only player to ever win with Cyberstein. Cyberstein was later emergency banned. I want to give a big shout out to my good friend Sensaker. He hooks me up with a lot of these cards so that I can finish his deck. This has been a work in progress, you guys. It's taken me several months to assemble this deck for the fact that some of these cards are just really hard to find. But thanks to him and help from a lot of people, I was able to get them. So I'm going to go through the deck pretty quick, and then I'm going to talk about like the key things that made the deck so good back in the day. So back in 2005, you guys, so think back to 2005, and we'll take a stroll down memory lane. So we're going to start with the deck right now. So of course, we have the 3 copies of Cyberstein. For those of you that don't know what this card does, you pay 5,000 life points and you summon 1 fusion monster from your extra deck. There was an FTK involving this card, Megamorph, Giant Trunade, and whatever you brought out. This card was amazing. You could search it off Sankin, you could get it off Last Will. It was great. On to the rest of the monsters, you ran 3 Cyber Dragon. Cyber Dragon was really good because it was one of the best beaters in the game. Very easy to summon. The opponent would usually have a monster. Being able to special summon Cyber Dragon and then go into a normal summon was really good. Cyber Dragon was just a beater and you used it. It was just really good against the majority of the meta back then. It was hard to answer at 2100, especially when it was a free summon, basically. 3 Innumerable Manga. Basically, you use this card to gain back life points. Stein does cost you 5,000 life points, which is more than half your life points. When this card is sent to the destroyed by battle and sent to the graveyard, you gain 1,000 life points, and then you can summon up to 2 more. So if it dies, you can summon up to 2 more in face down defense. So it helps you get back your life points. So it was really, really good. David Rodriguez also ran 2 Exiled Force. Card was just good, 1-for-1 removal. You could attack like a goat token. You could attack a small monster and then Exile Force another card. So it was just really, really versatile in a format where you needed to get monsters off the board to go for OTK or just to continue field control. And then on to the one-of monsters, 1 Morphing Jar to grant a player a new hand and draw to the cards you need. 1 Magician of Faith because getting back spell cards is broken. 1 Cannon Soldier's card was very versatile. It could help you win the game because you could launch off Scapegoat tokens, you could launch off other monsters, and you could launch off itself. Every time you launch off a monster, the opponent takes 500, so this card was really good in adding that last aspect of burn damage you needed to win. 1 Sangan, get Stein, get pretty much every card in the deck. It was just really versatile, obviously. And then 1 Spirit Reaper for stall, for the ability to knock a card out of the hand. Just a really good card overall. So that's it for the monsters. On to the spells. One of the main spells in the deck was 3 copies of Megamorph. So people don't know what this card does. When your life points are lower than your opponent's, you double the attack of 1 monster. When they're higher, you half the original attack. Basically, you would Stein, go down to 3,000, and then Megamorph the monster you brought out, which was usually Blue Eyes Ultimate or Cyber End Dragon, depending on the situation, and you would win because of that. So this card was amazing. You had to run it at 3. On to the rest of the deck. For this version of the deck, which ended up winning the SJC, he ran 3 copies of Poison the Old Man. This was a very versatile card at this time because, like I said, you paid 5,000 life points to use Stein, so you could use its ability to gain 1,200 to get your life back. That's 3,600 if you resolved all of them, so you could almost Stein again. And also, it had that extra burn damage as another effect to burn your opponent for 800, especially if you were playing the Stein mirror match and you somehow stopped them from killing you. You could then use Poison the Old Man to burn away the last of their life points. This card was just really good. Also, with his side deck, you'll see why it was so good. On to the spell and trap removal. It's insane, you guys. Back then, there were not only 2 Giant Trunades, but there was also 1 Heavy Storm and 1 Mystical Space Typhoon. You had the ultimate removal at the time, and it literally made it effortless to clear back row and be able to win. So, crazy back row. We will never have back row like that again. We have 3 Typhoon, but we'll never have Trunade and Heavy in the same format. On to the one-ofs, 1 Confiscation, pay 1,000, knock a card out of your opponent's hand. Look at your opponent's hand and knock one out, really good. Graceful Charity, you guys already know, draw 3, discard 2, get to your combo pieces. 1 Last Will, really good if a monster would be destroyed. this turn. You can only activate this during that turn. You're able to bring out a monster with 1500 or less attack from your deck, which is basically all the monsters in the deck. So this was a way to search Stein, search Sangan, do some really cool combos. So last roll was amazing. One Nobleman cross out, everyone's set, especially Magician of Faith, Morphing Jar cards like that. So being able to knock away a problematic monster and then Stein for game was very important. One level limit area B to lock out beater monsters so that you could just stall out and wait till you get to Stein. And also you could just True Nade everything back and then Stein FTK them from there. One limiter removal, usually you would bring out machines. Mostly you guys will see the fusion deck as machine monsters that you bring out and you limiter for game if you don't have Megamorph. One United We Stand, because since you run Scapegoat and you do get monsters on the board, you are able to boost the monster by 800 for every face-up monster you control, so it was very easy to get your monsters big. And then one Scapegoat, because Scapegoat was awesome, a good line of defense, and a good way to launch off with Cannon Soldier. That's it for the spells, and then just on to the traps real quick. One Ceasefire, really good. Extra burn damage, there's always effect monsters going around. Good way to nuke Magician of Faith and nuke opposing Morphing Jars if you felt they were on the board. One Magic Cylinder, self-explanatory, attack, they take the damage. One Mirror Force, mass removal. One Ring of Destruction, broken card. All you had to do was Stein, bring out the monster, attack with them, and then Ring of Destruction, whatever you needed to, and just win the game right there. It was another way to win the game, really cheap. One Torrential for the other mass removal card, and one Gravity Bind to lock out opponent's monsters until you draw to your combo. So that's it for the main deck, you guys. It was 41 cards. I'm going to get into the Fusion deck real quick. The Fusion deck is really small, but the cards are very important. So Stein, like I said, you pay 5,000 life points, and you're able to special summon one Fusion-type monster. Now, you guys know there's been a lot more Fusion since then, but basically, back in the day, you would just bring out certain ones. So I'll start with the basics. You ran 2 copies of Cyber End Dragon. This was probably your go-to card for the fact that you pay 5,000, you bring out a 4,000 beater, you use Megamorph, it's 8,000, you win in one turn. Also, it was really good against Scapegoat tokens and low defense point monsters because it does have Trample. Another easy way to win the game. Your opponent has a Scapegoat token. If you True Nade away everything else, you bring this guy out, you Megamorph it, you attack, they take 8,000, that's game. So you needed 2 just in case for some reason Stein resolved and you didn't win that turn. You also run Cyber Twin Dragon. This card was really good. It could attack twice. Just really versatile when you needed it to be. You could Megamorph it to make it 56, so it was just a really good card. One Blue Eyes Ultimate Dragon, because let's face it, who doesn't want a free 4,500 beater, basically? 4,500 beater, then you Megamorph it, it's 9,000, it's broken. With that and that, it's over 9,000, and that's great, obviously. Ask Vegeta, it's great. One Gatling Dragon. This card, being another machine is just really good. It does have an effect. You could toss a coin 3 times, destroy a number of monsters on the field equal to the number of heads. The effect can only be used once per turn during the main phase. I don't know how often you would summon this, but this was a backup. Also, it was good if you needed to clear opposing boards and you couldn't OTK them, so it did have potential. And then you ran one Ryu Senshi and one Dark Bolter the Terrible. These 2 cards were really good. They were able to negate... they were able to be able to negate normal spell cards and trap cards by paying 1,000 life points. So it was just really good, and you could negate the effects of a magic card that specifically designates this card as a target and destroy it, and you can do the same for this. If you negated that, the effect of the effect monster, if this card destroyed a monster by battle, its effect was negated, so these cards are just really good. That was it for the Fusion deck, you guys. Back then, there was no limit, but for this deck, you only needed specific ones. I'm sure there's a lot more you could add, but at the time being, that was all you needed to basically win the game. And this was David Rodriguez's exact list. I'll put a link below to the deck list on TCG Player, just so you guys can see that I did really try to get every card for you guys. So that was it for the extra deck. And then just onto the side deck. He had a conversion side deck that's sided into kind of like a stall burn. Stein was the kind of deck that you would decrease life points very fast. Your opponent would decrease life very fast. So being able to stall them out and burn them was the best way to win games 2 and 3. So for that, he ran 2 Lava Golem. You guys already know, Tribute 2 monsters. They have this thing. You stall them out with like Gravity Bind or Level Limit, and they just take 1,000 each turn. Basically beating them slowly. 2 Stealth Bird, basically you would set this card, then during your turn you would flip it up, they'd take 1,000, flip it back down, and it was just, another way to deal a lot of damage, so the card was really good. 1 Desk Koala, you guys already know, you attack, it flips, they take 400 for every card in hand. You would try to bank on 1,600 to 2,000 damage every time you activated this, if you were fortunate enough. That's it for the monsters. On to the spells. 3 Wave Motion Cannon. Every standby phase, it gains a counter. You launch it off. As many standby phases that have gone by, you're able to deal 1,000 points of damage. This card was amazing. Really hard to get back then. A very hard common to get. It was really good. It's from Magician's Force. That was it for the spells on the traps. Basically all burn traps. You ran 3 Secret Barrel, 2 Just Desserts, and 2 Ojama Trio to round up the side deck. Basically, it was a conversion side. You would take out the Stein engine, you would side into burn, so that if your opponent was playing Stein, they would pay 5,000, and it would only take like maybe 1 or 2 Secret Barrels and Just Desserts and any of the monsters we sided in to basically win the game, and then throw in Poison to the Old Man. That's why I said the card was really good, because you could basically convert into basically not a chain burn, but more of a stall burn side deck for games 2 and 3, and throw your opponent off thinking that you were playing Stein again. So that was his whole strategy and worked really well, clearly, as he won the SJC with the deck. So that's pretty much it, you guys. I hope you guys enjoyed the deck profile. I'm just going to show you guys real quick. The OTK combo was very simple. You just needed to have a Cyber Stein along with a copy of either Giant Trunade, Heavy Storm, or if your opponent had only one back row, the Mystical Space Typhoon. And then you would bring out, normally, like I said, you would bring out Cyber End Dragon, or you would bring out Blue Eyes Ultimate Dragon, and depending on the situation, I usually would probably go for Cyber End, just in case your opponent has a defense position monster or a scapegoat token. You bring this out, you are down at 3,000, you Megamorph it, you attack for game, or if you're in the situation, you use Ultimate Dragon, you use an attack 9,000, that's game. So that's pretty much it, you guys. I hope you guys enjoyed the retro deck profile. Thumbs up if you want to see more of these. I'll definitely work my hardest to build the decks for you guys. The next deck I'm working on is Demise OTK, another deck that David Rodriguez brought to a top finish at one of the SJCs. Definitely another one of my favorite decks from back in the day. This was one of the original OTK decks, Stein OTK. So I hope you guys did enjoy this deck profile. Let me know. Leave your thoughts below if you remember this deck, if you don't remember this deck. This is the deck that led to Cyber Stein's emergency banning. For those of you who remember, in the middle of the format, it got emergency banned. But anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed it. Leave your thoughts below. Also comment below what other decks you would like to see from back in the day. Let's keep it between 2005 or 2004, and I would say let's go no higher than maybe 2009, 2010, maybe all the way up to Plant Synchro. I'd like to do that. I'd like to be able to profile those decks so you guys could see just how amazing the game was back then and how it has evolved over time. So anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Thumbs it up, and thank you for watching.